My name is Kama Fletcher, and this summer is our third year having our son take classes at Farnsworth. So before we came to Farnsworth, Jack was 2, so his swimming level was pretty much not a thing. It was like nil. And in fact, he wasn't afraid of the water, but he definitely wasn't comfortable on his own or with someone other than me. So, yeah. So since we started taking lessons 2 years ago now with Farnsworth, he has made incredible progress. I mean, he is a swimmer. He is fine by himself in the pool, but yet he also knows that he's not supposed to be by himself in the pool. So at Farnsworth, they're not only teaching the basics of actual swimming so that the kids know how to keep themselves above water and to get from one side of the pool to the other, but they're also learning safety rules. Every lesson they have to give rules to their teacher at the end about no running, never getting into the pool without an adult. They learn how to use a life jacket. They learn what to do if they see another person struggling in the pool. So it's incredibly comprehensive. So I know that there maybe is a little bit of sticker shock when people first look at the private lesson cost versus the group costs that you can sometimes find at places like just other places in the Almaden. But I have an older daughter, and we went that route, the group route with her, and 2 years into it, she still wasn't swimming. So, I mean, for me, you get what you pay for, and when you invest in the private lessons, and especially with the methodology that they're using at Farnsworth, your kid's going to swim. So, I mean, to me, it's worth the money knowing that by the end of the time you've spent there, in any given week or summer, you're going to see tremendous progress. And if you keep it up at home and you make sure you don't let them wear life jackets at home and stuff, like, then the investment will pay off long term for sure. I would recommend Farnsworth to anyone that is trying to find, a comfortable, safe, and trusted school for their kid to learn how to swim. I mean, they've been a part of this community. I have actually older kids as well. I have a blended family, and I have stepchildren in their mid to late 20s. They took lessons from, Farnsworth, from the founder, and to know that that legacy is here in the Bay Area, and to be able to talk to so many community members who had a good experience, to me that was the selling point at the end of the day. It was just knowing that there's a trust and a loyalty and a commitment to this community. I think the only thing else I would share is that, I started off my first week with my son here 2 years ago really kind of emotional because he was really upset. He was crying, and even though the emails that came out before he started warned me about that and tried to prepare me for that, I wasn't prepared, and I vocalized my concerns with the teacher and and then with Janie, and everybody was really wonderfully responsive and communicative. And when I was upset, they listened and in fact asked me what could we have done better. And when I gave them some ideas, they implemented them the very next year. There was more information about crying. There was an actual video about it ahead of time, and so I think that the kind of moral of that story is just that this is a place that is interested in hearing from its patrons and wants to do better. So and now I help other parents when they have crying kids, because there is that kind of like pay it forward thing on the deck with the parents. So it's a great community.
It's our third year at Farnsworth Swim School. So when I brought my son, who is now 7, he couldn't swim at all. He had extreme fear of water, and we were afraid that he wouldn't even touch the water when it comes close to it. And finally, when we tried the school, the first few days there was a lot of whining and crying, but crying subdued pretty quickly, I think within the same lesson, which was surprising to us. And the teacher was so gentle and kind and assuring that within the first week he already started swimming a little bit, which none of us expected. We just didn't want him to be afraid of water. And we loved that, and we signed up pretty much for the whole summer, and by the end of the summer he was swimming pretty much across the pool. So we came back the next summer, and I was afraid that during the year we didn't take any classes, that he would be forgetting everything he learned. But he didn't. He picked up the same way we pick up skiing. Pretty much from the point we stopped, he picked it up again, developed more technique in swimming. So we were very excited because I could see the progression. Again, the teacher's amazing, very understanding, and I like that there was continuity because it was the same teacher pretty much the whole summer who could adapt to his style, knew exactly what kind of progress he's making. And this year when I came, it was mostly technique, which we love because he's learning different styles already with timing and breathing to the side and all the things that help them with endurance. And he enjoys water. He's looking forward to the classes. We couldn't be happier. So I had experience with my daughter, who's older, and we went through different schools. We went through traditional schools, publicly, with even though they had private lessons, it would take us years to get to some level. There were multiple levels. You get to the top and your child can still not swim independently well enough in the water. But the teacher helps too much, holds them, so they don't develop confidence. And you're not always guaranteed the same teacher. And it would be one lesson a week, 20 minutes or 30 minutes, depending on different schools. We went through maybe 4 different schools with her until we finally figured out what works. So with my son, no experiments were needed. I actually found on Yelp about Farnsworth, but I like that they have the whole summer back to back. You had the option of doing back to back, which we did. And the development is way different. I think it's so much worth the investment because, for example, sometimes people sign up young kids for a group lesson, and it's you pay a fraction, maybe $25 for 30 minutes. Your child doesn't get 30 minutes. Your child gets attention for 5 or 10 if you're lucky. The rest of the time, they're standing there waiting for the instructor to come back. So if you financially, you pay more. If you translate it to how much you pay, you actually may be paying even less, but even though it doesn't look like that, but from return on investment, you can clearly see that it's working. And your child in one probably summer will learn what they will learn in 3 or 4 years going to regular schools. And they thrive very quickly because I like that the pool is not too big. It's very loving. The teachers are gentle, but yet challenging them, and that's what I really like. So to us, the investment was way beyond worth it. I'm not even looking at any other schools anymore. And plus, the fact that it doesn't smell like chlorine right in your nose, I think it's an extra plus because it's still healthier, and there were incidents in other pools where they put too much of it and kids got poisoning. I really like that it's a private pool, that people would put what they would put for themselves. So I think even kids with skin sensitivities, like my son has, doesn't suffer at all there. So to me, it's an extra big plus. Besides all the points that I mentioned, the customer service is amazing. You will be treated as family. You can email, you get instant response. Someone really cares about accommodating your kids. You can say, maybe point out what your kid is afraid of or not afraid of, and they may find a better match with a teacher versus a big school where whoever is available at that time slot. And we tried in other schools when we would talk and we say, with this one it really worked, and with this one it seems like it's not going anywhere. Well, if they could, they would, but normally it's more detached. Here is the business owner and everyone is invested, and you can see even the teachers are invested. So to us, it's a huge plus. I love small businesses. I love how they care for you, the way it's more like a family environment where everyone is relaxed. They were able to sustain the business even when pretty much everyone neglected our kids last year. We still came in a safe environment and were able to have our kids taught, and they continue thriving, which is amazing. Um, and plus, they will learn so much quicker than any other place. So I wholeheartedly recommend this place to anyone who wants to try it. I think it's worth giving a try at least. Um, I also brought my daughter, who already swimming at a relatively comfortable high level, knows the strokes, and I thought, okay, just for fun, maybe she should come too, because she's looking longingly at her sibling, my son, who is swimming, and she's thinking, I wish I had that access. And all of a sudden, I could see that there is still so much that she's picking up. She loves the water, even though she's older, and I thought maybe the pool is not too long for her. Actually, it was none of these concerns came true. She learned extra techniques, turn around in the pool, so I think her speed increased. So I think even for those who already mastered skills, there is still so much they can improve upon, or just enjoy themselves in the water, and maybe increase endurance, or little things that we're not necessarily thinking about when we think our kids can swim. It's something extra that there is some always an ability to improve upon. So I love that I have both of my kids now in the program, and we're looking forward for the next summer.